Good morning, everyone. How are we? Hope you're all well. Sunday morning, the 28th of September. Wow, where's the year gone? Comms check, please, guys. Comms check. Radio check over. Let me know if you can hear me and see me, please, guys, before I start jibber-jabbering. Make sure everything's right. I've been away. Morning, Michael. How are you, mate? Michael Avdalis. I hope I pronounce your name right, mate. Sorry if I don't. 10B10, not 5B5. I must be really, really good. I'm 10B10, Terry said. Good stuff, Terry. Thanks, mate. Hope you're well. Terry's with his son down in Sydney at the moment, showing him bloody Sydney Opera House and all that type of stuff. Morning from Adelaide, Matthew Norris. G'day, Matthew. How are you, mate? Hope everything's good down there in Adelaide. Scozzy, go the Panthers. Yeah, they've been a big good game this afternoon, Scozzy. That's going to be a cracker, mate, that game. We're going to talk about the footy soon. Don't worry about that. John's over in Oregon going, they're not going to talk about bloody rugby league, are they? I'll tell you what, we're going to talk about Aussie rules again today. Swaggin sisters, the Swaggins. I'll check that out soon, girls. I just got an email come through from the Swaggins. Hang on, what is it about? Swaggins. Oh, some Rafa and beauty. The Swaggin sisters just sent me through some photos of Rory and Kenzie and Rafa together at the Camping with Mates event. So, yeah, geez, old Raf and Kenzie bloody love each other, don't they? They get on really well, those two little doggies. Jealous and Rory. Rory doesn't like Rafa because he's too close to Kenzie. Rory gets jealous and starts howling and carrying on. It was good to see that Rory and Kenzie again. And, what was the other name? Roswell. I mean, a heap of other dogs at the camping event. It was good to see, isn't it? Everyone loves bringing their best mates along to the camping events. Landy's on. G'day, Landy. Blackers. All the names are at the camping. Then Margie Lavelle. G'day, mate. How are you? Wixie. Hey, before I forget, guys, Joshy Hatch. G'day, mate. How are you? Good to meet you too, mate. Joshy came up for the camping event all the way from South Aussie. He did about nearly 3,000 something kilometres return trip to get to the camping event. Me and Roz, we fell just short of 5,000 kilometres, guys. It was about 4,950 or 4,960 or something. So we almost cracked the 5,000 kilometres, which was, I worked that out in miles, John, 3,106 miles. So, yeah, it was a good trip, really was. We'll talk about it soon, everyone. We'll do something. Chrissy Anderson, g'day, mate. The Nomadic Yowie, he's on. Lynn Rogers, down the road, couple of hours down the road there, near Ingham. And where's my phone? Hey, mate, how are you? Morning, Buck, Roz, and everyone. Love the trip videos. Yeah, there's more of them coming. Where's my phone? So that's a new name. Or have you changed your name? I haven't seen that name on the channel before. Not that I remember anyway. Where's my phone? I'll tell you what, I'd love $1 for every time I've said that. Or where's me wallet? Where's me car keys? Dear, oh dear. Okay, Josh said just under. No, you said it was over 3,000, Josh, didn't you? Anyway, Joshy Hatch, everyone, the Damper King. He won the Damper comp at the Camping with Mates. Bloody well done. Who did the damper that looked like a big giant hot cross bun? That damper looked sensational. I'd love if whoever did that hot cross damper, can you please email me the recipe and I'll have a crack on a cooking clip for you. Okay, Aussie. It's Aussie. How are you, mate? It is. We do know you. It's Aussie, who I met at the Townsville Fall Drive show. G'day, Aussie. How are you, mate? All right, I'll remember that from now on. Good stuff. That was Robert Mawkins. Oh, Robert Mawkins did the hot cross damper, was it? Okay, that was an amazing. It's coming up on a future clip, guys. I actually got some video of it. It looked like a damper, but it looked like a giant hot cross bun, and it looked bloody sensational. And they glazed it with was it apricot jam or something over the top to give it a really shiny appearance. Really, really good. Anyway, Pete McMurtry's on, is he? Where is he? Oh, someone's saying g'day to Pete McMurtry. Oh, there he is. G'day, Pete. How are you, mate, down there in Townsville? Hey, exciting news. Paddy Bright, guys. Paddy and Anna are engaged down in Townsville. Good mate of mine, Pat. And I did the camp up at Olera Creek. I did a little 2-night camp with Paddy and Anna, and they're engaged, guys. So congratulations to them. Paddy's got a new job now, canine security, and he's back in business, guys, and everything's bloody looking good for Pat. So amazing stuff. He's had a bit of trouble with his old employer and that, but he had a win over those mongrels. So it's nothing worse than you're working for someone, you get injured on the job and that, and then they don't look after you. It's piss poor. They try and get out of it, arseholes. It's bloody not on. Paddy's in the security game, guys, and yeah, if you're doing that type of stuff, which can be a dangerous job, you want to know your employer's got your back. It's like everything now, insurance companies and all bloody good when they're taking your money, and then the time to look after you, they wipe their hands of you. It's bullshit. Timbo's on. Where's Tim? Timbo down under. Howdy, Buck and everyone. G'day, Timbo. How are you, mate? Francis Fitzgerald. Morning, Buggy. Good to see you, mate. Yeah, you too, Francis. Thanks for tuning in this morning, mate, this Sunday morning. It's bloody a little bit overcast here. I've got the caravan out, and we'll talk about that soon. I busily yesterday washing. We got home Friday afternoon, everyone, and yesterday I had the BT50 at the car wash, and because we got a lot of salt spray on it at Southwest Rocks, guys, it was bloody salt spray and everything. So gave it a really good wash yesterday at the car wash and got underneath it and all that type of stuff, and gave the caravan a bit of a scrub up and cleaned her out inside, mopped it out and getting it all ready to go. I've got some repairs coming up, guys. That is the end of camping season for a while because I've got some big repairs coming up, and I'll tell you all about that soon on both the BT50 and the caravan. Not so much on the caravan, but definitely the BT50. I have got gearbox problems. So money must be funny. It's not funny in a poor man's world, yes. So the good old cars, they're good when they're going, but the old BT50's gearbox, it's been playing funny games for a long time now, guys, and we just got home. I'll tell you more about that later. Anyway, so yeah, I lost six gears playing up, guys, and fifth gear's vibrating badly. It's been doing that for a while, and when you're towing a caravan, it's even worse. So gearbox, I've tried everything. They bloody tried to tighten this, and engine mounts, gearbox mounts, tried to fault find, and it's at the stage now where that gearbox is coming out, and it's going to go to a gearbox specialist in Cairns, probably replace fifth and sixth cogs, and get all the bloody selectors done that's causing the vibration, and it's going to be, I'm up for thousands of bucks here, but got to get that BT50 back on the road and get back into it. Repairs are great content, I've heard. Yeah, you won't see me doing a gearbox repair, mate. You're pretty handy on the tools. I am not, so that gearbox will be going to a gearbox specialist. Actually, I wouldn't mind. It'd be good to go up with a camera to the whoever does the gearbox. My local mechanic may do it, but I'm pretty sure he's going to rip that gearbox out, guys. Send it to a gearbox specialist that just specialise in gearboxes, and they'll have all the parts. And I'm thinking, how many kilometres? 250,000 Aussie, 9678, 250,000, mate. I'm going to talk more about that soon, so stand by. We'll get to that. This is going to be a big one, guys. I hope you got a coffee in hand. This is going to be pretty. I haven't done one for a couple of weeks. John said was one of the first ones on over there in Oregon, and he said, "I'm bloody waiting to catch up on me Saturday afternoon jibber jabber." So it's Saturday afternoon or early evening over there in the west coast of the United States. Everyone, haven't seen Mike Blakely on yet. I don't know if Mike's on. John, did you and Mike ever catch up at all? I'm tipping not. Jeff Caneen, good morning. G'day, Jeff. How are you, mate? Yeah, hey, I don't know if Squirrel, bloody well done to all the people who organised that camping event, guys, down at Clarence Town, Williams River Holiday Park. What a magnificent event. You know who you are without me trying to go through and do a Terry G and put myself on. No, I'll do it. So it's Wixie and Paula, who were a big part of getting the shirts done. Dean and Donna Roach wrote the Roachies. Margie Lavelle, Brad and Mary Howell. Who have I missed? Landy Smurf. And I think that's it. So to everyone who... No, I've missed someone, have I? No, I haven't. And I know Phil Taylor was in there behind the scenes too, guys. So to everyone who contributed to organising that bloody camping trip down in New South Wales, very well done. What a great weekend it was. There was no big charity thing or anything like that, guys. That wasn't the purpose of this. It was just to get all the good people in the community together. Everyone had a great time. Met even more great people. And my neighbours there, Chrissy and Jeff, if you're watching, Chrissy was baking up a storm in her caravan. Every time I looked out the window, Chrissy was on her way over with bloody cakes and all this type of stuff. And they had that was their first trip in their 2009 Jayco that they bought secondhand. And they loved it. They said, oh, gee whiz, we enjoy camping in a caravan now. So, and we had the rowies on our other side, guys, the rowies. And as I was leaving the other day, I had a driver under instruction thing on the BT50. I thought, what smart ass did that? It was the rowies. The rowies put a driver under instruction banner on the BT50 as I was pulling out. And guess what else I did? We took off, and Terry G's got it, guys. Terry contacts me the other night. Hey, Buck, I've got one of your wheel chocks. We got the front one, drove off, forgot the back one. So, Terry, I'll send you some money, mate. I'll get you to post the bloody wheel chock up to me. We drove off and left the wheel chock behind. Anyway, we didn't even know until you told us. I would have gone in a month's time going, where's that wheel chock gone? It's probably with me bloody spike out of me Aussie campfire kitchen and me pop-up kettle in Missy. And I wouldn't have known. I left her in New South Wales. Terry's got it. So Ed's on, is he? Ed's camping in four-wheel drive. Had a really good chat with Ed the last night before Ed come up and had a chat. It was good I've never really had a chance to sit down with Ed and have a good chat, but me, Roz, and Ed, bloody had a good chat the other night. It was good, Ed. Bloody see a different side of you there, mate, rather than just watching you on the camera or whatever. And at the Legends thing, mate, everyone was busy. You don't get a chance. So it was just good to sit down. And Mud Duck come up and said good day. You had a good chat with Mud Duck and all that type of stuff. And I must admit, it's a bit hard. It's a bit hard with bloody going to these events. And me and Roz like just sitting down by ourselves sometimes, guys. A bit impossible at those events. Everyone coming up saying goodbye, good day, and all that type of stuff. But anyway, we made up for it on the way home and the way down. It was good. Me and Roz, I don't know, we're getting antisocial now, guys. We just like finding a place, just sitting down by ourselves and just doing our own thing now. So Ed's talking to Blackers. Tony Purdy, well, there's a couple of guys out there in the community this morning, guys, that are not happy. Tony Purdy is one of them, and the other one is Justin Dillon, everyone. They're Geelong Cat supporters. So, John, if you're watching over in Oregon, yesterday, mate, we got a few different codes of football over here. You've just got the NFL over there, but over here we've got a few different codes. We've got Rugby League and Rugby Union, two different games, and then you've got AFL, Australian Football League. Aussie rules, we call it, a totally different game to the rugby games. Rugby League and Rugby Union are very similar. There is some big differences in those two games. I watch Rugby League, John. The big competition here in Australia is Rugby League. There is a Rugby Union one. Rugby Union's a big international game with your Wallabies, the All Blacks, the South African Springboks, and Rugby Union is a very, very big international game. It's the second biggest ball sport behind soccer, Rugby Union. It's played by a lot of different countries. Anyway, I'm a leaguey. If you're from New South Wales or Queensland, there's a fair chance you were brought up like in rugby league, like the North Queensland Cowboys and Penrith Panthers and that. But down south in Victoria, South Australia, West Aussie, and that, the big game there is Aussie Rules. And anyway, they had their big grand final yesterday, and it was won by the Queensland team. The Brisbane Lions, everyone, went back to back. That was their third grand final, I think, in a row, and their second win in a row. So the Brisbane Lions beat the Geelong Cats yesterday. Bit unsuspected. In the first semi-final, Geelong met up with Brisbane. I think it was 2 plays, second position plays fourth. Geelong beat Brisbane pretty comfortably in that first semi-final. And then Geelong went on and had a rest. Brisbane had to play to get to the grand final, and from then it was all knockout for them. But anyway, they met up with Geelong again in the grand final, and yesterday they put on a clinic in the second half. I didn't watch the first half, guys. I was out cleaning and mopping the caravan and all that. But in the second half, I was keeping an eye on the score, and Brisbane jumped about 2 goals clear. And I thought, I'll bloody turn the TV on and sit down and watch the second half. Brisbane really kicked on. It was like, I don't know, like someone put a rocket under their ass, and they just, anyway, what was the final score? Brisbane 122, Geelong 75. John's probably thinking, that's a big score. It is, mate. It's because they get 6 points for kicking it through the middle post, and they still get a point for missing for kicking it through the outside post. So even if they miss, they still get a point in that silly game. But anyway, well done to the Brisbane Lions. Back to back, the Queensland team. We've got, even though rugby league's the big game here in Queensland, guys, we've got two AFL-based Queensland teams. You've got the, what are they called? The Gold Coast bloody Suns, who got into the semi-finals as well. Brisbane beat them in one of the semi-finals, and the Brisbane Lions, guys. So well done to the Brisbane Lions. Bloody too good in that second half. The score was tied up. It was 37 all or something, at 37 points at halftime. The game was locked up, and I thought, well, this could go anywhere. And then the third quarter, Aussie Rules has quarters, the same as the NFL, John, whereas rugby league just has 2 halves. The Aussie Rules does have 20-minute quarters. It's a very fast game, mate, not stop and start. Aussie Rules is a bigger oval field, and they kick the ball around, a lot of kicking and all that. It's an exciting game. I think it's a better game to watch live, because when you watch it on the TV, you only see the guy with the ball. Whereas when you watch a game live, and I have seen one, I went to one once, it was the Sydney Swans and someone back in the 80s, you can actually see the guys right up the field creating leads and that for the kicker to give it someone to kick to. So I think watching it live is even better than on the TV. I think rugby league, probably I like watching it on TV, guys. You get the close-ups and the slow-mos and all that type of stuff. So, yeah, best thing about Brisbane is yes, be at the Fitzroy. And for those who don't know, the Brisbane Lions, guys, they were originally Fitzroy, which was a Melbourne-based team, and they closed down anyway and became the Brisbane Lions. But the Brisbane Lions are going to be in Melbourne today. They're going out to the old Fitzroy football oval. So there's a lot of Victorians that used to barrack for Fitzroy. So they now barrack for the Brisbane Lions, because the Brisbane Lions kind of took over from the Fitzroy Lions, still with the same colours and that, I believe. That's right. Brisbane used to be the Brisbane Bears, didn't they? And then they became the Brisbane Lions. They're going back now, Lukey. I forgot all about that. Yeah, Brisbane used to be the Brisbane Bears, and then they went to the Brisbane Lions, and they kind of became the new Fitzroy. Done very well back in the 90s. They won 3 grand finals in a row, and now they've been in 3 grand finals, and they've won 2. So well done to the Brisbane Lions. They were way too good for Geelong in that second half. They really went up a couple of gears, and Geelong had no answer for them, guys. It was like, I don't know, it was just every time the ball, there was red and blue jerseys there, the Brisbane Lions. The Geelong was nowhere to be seen in some of the plays. Jamie Fulton calls a spade a shovel, He goes, I'd rather watch grass grow than that shit game. Oh, dear, oh, dear. I'm not quite as bad as that. 3 in a row against Collingwood. Yeah, they beat Collingwood a couple of times. Or was it 3 in a row they beat Collingwood? So anyway, the Brizzy Lions, well done to them, the Queensland-based team. So Queensland's got some more bragging rights over the Vicks. And, yeah, I put something up on my Facebook page. I went, get that in here, you filthy VB swillers, up the Brisbane Lions. And someone comes back and goes, what are you going on about, Buck? You don't even follow the game. No, I don't. Not until yesterday when the grand final was on and the Queensland team were winning. Then I started following AFL guys. But, yeah, Lukey Alexander, I grew up in a full AFL family. Yeah, it's one of those things, isn't it? You're either brought up with AFL or brought up with rugby league or the NRL. They lifted when Lachie Neale came on the field. Yeah, he was under a bit of an injury cloud, Greg, I think, Lachie Neale. But anyway, he came on and, no, he did well. Geez, they're young lads, aren't they? I noticed when they were coming up to get their things around the neck and really, geez, some of them look like they're about 18 and 19. They're real young. They're all fit fellas, but it's a totally different game to rugby league, isn't it? It's just a totally different game. They do a lot of running. Those, the rovers, they call them. I'd hate to think how many kilometres they must run in a game. They just do not stop. They're very, very fit lads. Won't stand still's on, is he? Hey, g'day, mate. How are you? Paulie's on over in West Aussie, over in bloody Carnarvon in Western Australia, guys. Paul's moved up there. Hope you're all well, mate. Yeah, there he is. Paul from Carnarvon in the Gascoyne region, in the Midwest of Western Australia. Paul's told us everything but his street thing there. Paul from Carnarvon in the Gascoyne region in the Midwest of Western Australia. That's it. So if anyone's in any doubt where Paul is, he's just told us exactly where he is, except for his street name. Hope you're well, mate. Hope you're enjoying semi-retirement, driving a bus up there for the mines or something. So, yeah, hope it's all working out for you, mate. Hope you're enjoying your transition, getting out of the big smoke. I reckon it's good, mate. Get some fresh air, get up a bit of country life. You can't beat it, mate. Game of skill. Now, all games are skillful, mate. You know, like bloody ping pong's a skillful game. Tennis is a skill. All games are skillful. Yeah, it can be a scrappy game, but guys, when they're scrambling on the, I love when they get on a roll and they handball and they pass and it's nice and smooth, but there's a lot of scrapping for the ball on the ground and that's the one thing I don't like about Aussie rules. It can be very, very scrappy. But when it opens up and they get into open play and you get lead runners and all that, and it can be a very, very good game. But I never got into it, guys. I was brought up, I'm a Queenslander and I was brought up with rugby league. I played it from when I was bloody in primary school, rugby league, and that's just what I know. And when I joined the army, I changed over to rugby union. I played rugby union in the army, a little bit of rugby league, but mainly rugby union. So, and the Wallabies played yesterday. You wouldn't think. Wallabies played the All Blacks over at Eden Park in New Zealand. Where's that? Eden Park's in Christchurch, is it? Correct me if I'm wrong. And the All Blacks got up over the Wallabies. I was reading there that some bad refereeing and that, but how many times do you hear that? When your side loses, everyone blames the ref. Yeah. Someone put a picture up. Last time, this was an old original. Remember the old original Nokia mobile phones, guys, where you had to, if you wanted C, you had to hit the button 3 times when you're texting someone. They said that's what phones look like last time the Wallabies beat the All Blacks in the Bledisloe Cup. So, and it's true. Not since the John Eales days, guys, have we been able to beat the All Blacks. They're just too good for it. Oh, Eden Park's in Auckland. Francis, sorry, mate. Yeah. Eden Park in Auckland, not bloody Christchurch. Marky Mark heading back to Rara. Yes, he is. I can't say his last name. The Roosters, he's going back to rugby union, guys, because he wants to play for the Wallabies in the World Cup in 2027. So, starry beaches and salty beaches and starry nights. Lukey's gone. Is Luke out of here? Where's Lukey? Is Lukey Reed on? Oh, Luke. Oh, sorry, Luke Alexander's going. See you, Luke. It was good to catch up with you and the family, mate, at the camping trip. Absolutely fantastic. Great family there, and well done on rescuing the duck. Lukey caught a duck that had a fishing hook in his his bill. Anyway, they snipped it off and got the bloody fishing hook out of the duck's bill, guys. So well done to Lukey for that. Well done, mate. Absolute champion effort there. Jack Turtle's on. G'day, Jack. Jack's on. Didn't see much of you on the thing, mate. You were down one end of the camp thing, and every time I saw Jack, he had to drive up to the main area. He must have been a long way away. And Turtles, he's taken the flashing orange lights off his Turtle mobile. I reckon add character, Jack, the orange lights on your Turtle mobile. Anyway, so there you go. The Aussie rules. Well done to the Brisbane Lions. Commiserations to Tony Purdy and Justin Dillon, everyone. I know Tony was brought up, buddy. I think Justin Dillon is a Cats tragic, and I'll tell you a story. We were on our trip a couple of years ago, and we were in Geelong. Anyway, the Aussie Rules Stadium there, Cardinia Park, or I think it's called, is where the Geelong Cats home ground. Beautiful stadium. Anyway, I went in, I was with the GoPro, and the gates were open. And I said to this bloke, he must have been just there painting something. I said, mate, you're allowed to go up and have a look. He goes, yeah, mate, you just go up and have a look. So I went up with my GoPro, right up the top. I looked down on the ground. The Geelong Cats are training. So this bloke comes out of a door. I said, hey, mate. I said, are we allowed to get some video footage around here? Because I had my GoPro on me. He just looks at me horrified, because you know what footy teams are like with other people filming their training sessions and that. They get very protective of it. He goes, hey, you get in here, mate. I said, I just walked up the stairs, mate. And he goes, oh, mate, you can't film here. I said, and then I thought, all right, he thinks I'm from Collingwood or something. I'm trying to spy on their training session. I said, mate, I had my cowboy shorts. I said, mate, I'm from North Queensland. I pointed to my shorts. I said, I don't even follow this game. I just wanted to have a look at the stadium. And he goes, then he realised that this diddly donk has no idea what he's doing. So he said, he said, mate, you can get a bit of footage if you want, but just don't get any footage of the team, please. I said, no, I won't even get the GoPro going, mate. I won't even think. So I had a quick look and I walked back down the stairs. He followed me down the stairs and locked the gates. So there was a worker down there, must unlock the gates. And I said to the worker, can I go and have a look? He said, yeah, mate. He didn't give a shit. But the bloke from Geelong did. Undercover buck, yeah. I should have got some footage and sold it to Collingwood for a good price. Anyway, I just saw a heap of blokes running around down on the oval. I wouldn't have known what they were doing, or I didn't really give a shit. It was a beautiful stadium. Absolute beautiful stadium. And that's where they were supposed to have the closing ceremony of the Commonwealth Games, which Victoria said, we're going to run the Commonwealth Games. And then Dan Andrews said, oh, we can't afford it now. We're not going to do it. And Scotland had to take over. So another one, Victoria. Well done, Victoria. God, that was embarrassing, wasn't it? Unbelievable. Anyway, speaking of Victoria, guys, the Victorian government is up a firearms shop in Townsville, Pagan Firearms. And I actually work with Anthony Pagan in the prison. Anthony was a screw with me. Anyway, he left corrections and started up his own shop, and it was mainly into hunting, like the hunting vests for pig dogs and that. The protective vests and GPS trackers for your pig dogs and all that type of stuff, and rifles, firearms. He went into rifles and firearms, same thing. And what was the other thing? Oh, machetes and hunting knives and all that type of stuff. Anyway, something on the news last night. The Victorian government's into him about advertising machetes. You can't do that. It breaches our laws, advertising machetes. So our Queensland politicians are in on. They're going, Victoria, go and eat a big fat one. This shop is in Queensland, where you're still allowed to buy a firearm. You're still allowed to buy a machete. your dogs are still there to go pig hunting and all that type of shit. And the Vics are down there going, you can't advertise machetes online. Piss off. It's a Queensland business. Machetes are legal up here and always will be. How are we going to husk our coconuts if we can't have a machete? That state, I tell you, guys, she got some issues, hasn't it? Justin Dillon's on. How are you, Justin? Licking his wounds, he is. Justin's licking his wounds. His Cats got done yesterday by Brisbane. Mate, they were in it till half time, and then Brisbane Lions just put a rocket under their ass and bloody went up into sixth gear and bloody away they went. It was, yeah, I know, John. Yeah, I know, mate. I know. Because a heap of bloody Sudanese people are running around with machetes down there because they've let too many of them into the country, hacking each other up with machetes like they do over in their own home bloody country in Africa where there's a civil war, and that's how they roll over there. They run around, hack each other up with machetes. Ask Kaz about that one. They bring their shit into our country because we let them in here, and then they say, you're not allowed to own machetes. The Yanks must just sit back and go, what the friggin' hell? Mate, our country, John, is shit at the moment. We've got so many left-wing bloody do-good and pricks running this place. Anyway, we got some strong politicians up here in Queensland. We got a Chris Footy. He'd never come of that. We got Bob Katter and the Katter Party and that up here. Pauline Hanson and all that. They won't cop that bullshit. Banning machetes. It's not the Aussies running around hacking each other up with machetes. It's a certain mob of people doing it. We had it happened the other day, John, after the ban. So they spent millions of dollars on all these disposal bins where everyone's got to drop their machetes in. So who's dropping all their machetes in the disposal bins? People like me, mate, all the honest people. Do you reckon the Sudanese little pricks are running around and putting all their machetes in the drop bins? No, they're still running around hacking people up. And the other day, a couple of weeks ago, they hacked up a 12-year-old and a 15-year-old down there in Melbourne, thinking they were hacking the tribal bloody shit that they go on with. Anyway, they got the wrong kids. A 15 and a 12-year-old got hacked to death with machetes in Melbourne. Can you believe that shit? You think you're in South Sudan or Rwanda or somewhere like that, mate. They let them come over here, and today's not going to be about that, guys, but that's fact. Anyone wants to dispute me on that, that's what's happening, mate. So the Victorian government, the left-wing Victorian government, who Victorians voted in, guys, Victorians voted for them, have now said, you're not allowed to own machetes. And that big, I'll show you. I might get banned here. That Gerber machete came from Victoria, guys, because someone, I won't dob yous in who it was, and they put a filthy VB label on there. They said, Buck, I'm going to turn this fan on. It's hot. Oh, come on. There you go. It's a bit bloody. I've got the ceiling fan on. It's still hot. Yeah, so they said, we'd rather send it to you, Buck, than bloody put it in a disposal bin. And it's ridiculous, isn't it? Anyway, I'm glad I live up here and not down there. That's all I'll say. Yeah, it was they got the wrong kids. They thought they were getting some other kids. The two kids that got murdered were friggin' innocent kids walking home from somewhere. They got the wrong. Anyway, they bring their shit over to this country, and that's what pisses me off. And I don't care where they're from. If you want to come here and enjoy our lifestyle. Don't come here and bring all your bullshit over here, like the shit. People running around with Palestinian flags and protesting and doing all this shit. We don't care. We don't care. Or hatchets. Yeah, I'm not sure, John. I'm not sure on what's actually banned. Hatchets, little Lorna, that machete ban down in Victoria, does that include hatchets and little tomahawks and that too? Did anyone see Grant from Four Wheeling in New South Wales? His little hatchet made out of a railway sleeper pin that his granddad made out of. Oh, what a great little bloody thing for chopping bits of firewood and that too. So I'm not sure if it includes tomahawks or is it just machetes. I think it's just no, it doesn't. It's just machetes, mate. Yeah. Anyway, it's a ridiculous decision. How we get onto that subject, I don't know. Anyway, let's get on to rugby league, everyone, just quickly. So we're getting down to the pointy end now. Aussie Rules had their green final yesterday, and next Sunday is the rugby league green final, the NRL green final. We've already got one team through to the green final, guys, and that's the Melbourne Storm. How good are those guys? That Craig Bellamy, their coach, unbelievable. 48, nearly 50% of his coaching career, he's had a team in the green final. That Melbourne Storm, they lose a lot of good players, and they just keep finding more good players. Bring all these young blokes up, and they become superstars. Melbourne Storm on Friday night beat the Cronulla Sharks. Cronulla Sharks always get into the semi-finals, guys. They can't quite get through to the big one, can they? They always get knocked out in the semis, except for 2016. They won the grand final. 22-14, Friday night, the Melbourne Storm. So they were the first team to go through the grand final, and they'll play the winner of today's game. Guys, this is going to be an absolute cracker. I'll be sitting down with a beer, watching this one for sure. Penrith Panthers and the Brisbane Broncos. How good is that going to be? I'm going to go for the Broncos, everyone. You know, I'm a Cowboys supporter. I'm going to go for the Queensland team. And Penrith's they've won 4 grand finals in a row. They're going to be hard to beat. They're hitting their straps at the right end of the season. Brisbane are going to have to play out of their skins today to beat Penrith. But it can be done. So anyway, let's see. It's going to be Melbourne versus either Brisbane or Penrith. So we'll see who's in the grand final next Sunday, guys. If it's Storm and Penrith next week, I'll be going for the Storm because there's a lot of Queenslanders in the Storm team. About 4 or 5 Queensland State of Origin players in the Melbourne Storm. So Penrith's, we got Cleary in there. He's a good player. So anyway, today's game is going to be an absolute cracker. Who do you put down? Who you think will win today, everyone? If you're into rugby league, who do you think, not who you want to win, who you think will win? Penrith or Brisbane? Jamie Fulton, another tragic Parramatta Eels supporter, him and Marky Lavelle, reckons the Eels, no, they won't. Oh, you never know. Parramatta, they're showing promise. They're showing promise. Goldie and Robbo, how are you, boys? Penrith and Storm grand final. If it is, lads, I hope the Storm get up because Penrith beat the Storm last year in the grand final. So I think it might be the Melbourne Storm turn, but I'm going to go for the Broncos, everyone. I used to be a Broncos supporter before the Cowboys come in 95, but being the Queensland team. So, yeah, I'll go for the Bronx today. Penrith, unfortunately, Gary Phillips reckons, going to be a good game. It's in Brisbane. Brisbane's got the home ground advantage, so we'll see what happens there. Anyway, I've got a few little special items here. Before I talk about, we'll talk about the camping event first. Great event, guys. As I said, we were on the road for about 2.5 weeks, covered 5,000 kilometres. The BT50, everyone. Now, listen, I need your advice here. This is going to, hope it's not Penrith, Lynn. Yeah, I know. As you would, Buck, who would have thunk it? Well, mate, Penrith had their go, Phil. They've been in 5 grand finals in a row. They've won 4, and they're going to go for their 5th in a row. So they've had their chance, mate. It'd be good to see another team get up and have a win. So if Penrith beat the Broncos today, I'll be going for the Storm in the grand final. If it's Brisbane Storm grand final, I'll go for the Bronx. So, go for the Queensland team. Got to support your thing. Mind you, when the Cowboys are playing the Broncos, I hate the Broncos. I'm a big Cowboys fan. Anyway, I can't see the Cowboys doing any better next year. Mind you, there's rumours, Phil, that the Cowboys are targeting Matt Burton from the Bulldogs. Wow. Imagine that. Actually, Pezzett and Burton. The Cowboys are targeting a couple of the Bulldogs players. Be interesting. Let's watch this space anyway. Time for time for Buck to tell us he's new. Ty Fenwick, stop putting ideas in my head, will you? Great to catch up with Ty too. I finally met Ty in real life down at the camp up too. Ty came in his big F-250, guys, in his caravan. What an amazing... You'll get to see that, everyone. If you haven't seen Ty's setup, I filmed Ty coming out of the camp the other day, just as he's driving up the driveway. It's a beautiful setup, mate. You should be proud of that. That's a bloody absolute beauty. And I love that colour of your F-250. It is a cracking colour, mate. Yeah, mate, we'll... I'm gonna stick with the BT50. I'm gonna spend some money on it. It's done 250. You know what? That's been good to us, that BT50. All I've done is, it's 13 years old. And let's face it, guys, it's not a shopping mum's car. It's been to Cape York. It's done the Creb track. It's bloody been on the Spirit. It's been down to Tassie. It's been a good tow motor for me and a good touring vehicle. I've had it off-road, guys. I've done four-wheel driving in it. It's been on Fraser Island. I've used it as a four-wheel drive. Got to expect things to start playing up when it gets to 250. So I've replaced the alternator and the starter motor have been replaced along the way. They're just bolt on, bolt off type thing. But I was driving home the other day and I know you're not supposed to tow in sixth gear, everyone. It's a 6-speed manual, everyone. I know you're not supposed to tow in sixth, but the BT50, especially since I've had this bloody remap done, does it easy. On the flat, it does it easy. As soon as I hit a slow thing, I'm up to fifth gear. Fifth gear's been vibrating badly for a long time now. And they've been trying to work out what's wrong with it. It's something coming from probably the linkages, I'd say, down in the gearbox. So the gearbox has got to come out anyway. Got north of Rocky the other day, changed into sixth, let the clutch out, funny noise. Into fifth, changed into sixth again. Nah, I kept her in fifth the whole way home after that. One thing I found with towing in fifth gear, the trouble is I had to keep my hand on the gear stick from Rockhampton to Innisfail because as soon as I let it go, it just vibrated. So I had to keep my hand. I couldn't drive two hands on the wheel. So there's something causing a bad vibration on the gear shift, the gear lever or whatever you want to call it, the gear stick in fifth gear. And I've Googled it and it could have been a lot of problems, but it's come down now. It's probably the linkages in there. But I've got problem with sixth gear now. Did I damage sixth gear towing a caravan in sixth gear? Possibly. Jace Crazy Dog got a Ford Ranger, same as mine. Mine's a BT50 Mazda. It's the same vehicle, guys, just with a Mazda badge on it. It's a Ford Ranger. And when you Google it, common problem, fifth and sixth gear and the linkages. Vibrating fifth gear due to linkages. Like if you Google it, it's there. That gearbox has got a common problem with it. So mine's finally decided to have that problem. So it's going to go to my mechanic tomorrow. And I'm going to go, mate, the gearbox has got to come out, get it reconditioned for me or whatever. Maybe I buy an already reconditioned Ford Ranger one. I prefer to get my own done so I know what's happened and what they've done to it. So, yeah, just have the transmission rebuilt, John. Yeah, and that's what I'm going to do, mate. So it'll come back as good as gold and hopefully I can power on because everything else is going well on that BT50. One thing I noticed, everyone, when I tow in sixth, I've got an engine temperature thing, not just the gauge on the dash. Brad Howell put an actual engine protector thing in there so I can see exactly what degrees the engine's running at. So it's hooked up to the block of the engine. And when I towed in fifth gear, it ran a lot cooler, everyone. Yeah, it revved more. And it feels like you're revving too high when you tow in fifth. That's why I was putting in a sixth. It tows in sixth. It doesn't struggle. It tows easy in sixth. They say you shouldn't do it. But I was doing it. And Jason said, I think that's why my gearbox shit itself too, because I tow me boat in sixth. So I won't tow in sixth anymore once I get the gearbox done. Yeah, it revs higher. But you know what? I think it didn't use as much fuel. And it certainly ran cooler. Towing in fifth. So that's just what I've got to do from now on. Yeah, it's going to be expensive, Chris. It's going to be expensive, mate. I'm up for thousands of dollars for this one. It's just the way it is. What do? Not have a four-wheel drive. So anyway, BT50 goes in tomorrow, guys. Gearbox hopefully will come out this week. Go to Cairns for a rebuild, and they'll pull it apart, probably find that there's something making fifth gear vibrate, and there's something wrong with sixth gear. I don't know if there's a noise. I'm not going to put it in the sixth anymore, so I'll get it pulled apart. Yeah, just tow in fifth and go slower. Yeah, I know, mate. And the trouble with that here is the trucks sit up your ass and they get the shits with you. If you don't sit on 100 on the Bruce Highway, the truckies get the shits with you. So, yeah, I towed in fifth, and, I can tow at 100. In fifth gear, I can sit her on 100, but she just revs a bit higher, that's all. But I like to tow on 90, between 90 and 95. 95 is a good sweet spot for towing. But the truckies, if you slow the truckies down, it's like, oh, get out of me friggin' way. All you hear on the UHF on the Bruce Highway is truckies having a go at caravanners. But anyway, on the inland roads on the way home, I'd see a truck come up behind me. I'd get straight on the UHF and go, hey, truckie, I can see you behind me, mate. I'll let you get around me. Let me when you want to come around. I'll get over. I'll slow right down. Let you. And the truckies were, thanks, mate. Appreciate that. And as long as you communicate with them, a lot of caravanners, guys, don't even have a UHF. And I think it's bloody should be compulsory. If you're going to tow a caravan, I reckon it should be compulsory to have a UHF. Not for the truckies. We, on the inland ones, where all the mines and that are, there's a lot of wide loads. And you know what? When you come and head onto a wide load with mining equipment, we don't have big open highways and that like America. We have narrow roads and that here, John, especially inland, one lane that way, one lane the other. And when there's a wide load, they'll have a wide load escort, and they'd always go caravan 4.5 meters, and when you hear 4.5, you go, I got to get right over here because he's hanging right over the center line. If you hear 3.5 or whatever, they're still in their lane, but you just move over a bit. When you hear them saying 4.2, 4.5, you've got to get over so you don't have an accident, don't have a bloody head on. When they get over 4.5, you'll see police escorts with them then, and the cops will be driving right over on the other lane saying, get away, get off the bloody road. I've got a wide load coming through. They don't stop for shit. Okay, so it's important that you have a UHF in your vehicle so that the wide load escorts can let you know. It's a safety thing. And I know there's people out there, I did a poll once, should caravanners have to have a UHF? And there was people out there going, shouldn't have to have a UHF. Who gives a shit about the trucks? But some of them drive along at 75 kilometres an hour with their head up their ass, and they wonder why the truckies get the shits with them. And I see where the truckies are coming from. Get on the UHF, try and stay up close to the speed limit if you're holding people up. And when you can, when there's an overtaking lane, get over to the left-hand side and slow down and let everyone get around you, which is what I did. Every time I got to an overtaking lane, I'd get across as soon as I could. I'd take my foot off, slow right down to about 80, and let everyone behind me get past on the overtaking lane. Instead of trying to speed up, how many times do you see that? Caravanners, you're trying to get around them, and you get an overtaking lane, and then the arseholes speed up to 100. People joke about it, but they do it. There's a lot of caravanners out there that are friggin' drive with their head up their ass, guys. I'm not one of them. I try and work in with all the traffic. Have a look in your mirrors. All right, I've got a fair bit of traffic behind me. Try and speed up, not to slow them down. When you get to an overtaken lane, back off and let them all get around you, especially the truckies. Yeah, 60 mile an hour is 100. So most roads in Queensland are 100 kilometres. There are some 110 zones. I certainly don't tow at 110, guys, not with a caravan. Some you can if you want to in Queensland. Some states you cannot tow over 100 kilometres an hour, a caravan. I remember when Western Australia, this is going back a while now, towing anything, even a box trailer, you were limited to 90 kilometres an hour. I think Western Australia has now upped that to 100. But in some states, you are not allowed to tow over 100 kilometres an hour. So that if you get the bloody speed wobbles up, or you haven't loaded your caravan properly, you're too much weight at the back and she starts fishtailing, you don't want to be doing that at 110 kilometers an hour. How many things are on YouTube? People overcorrecting with caravans, and next thing, arse overhead they go. All right. And I still think you should have to do some sort of towing instruction. If you're going to tow a caravan, I think there should be some sort of written test, maybe not a practical test. That would be nice. At least if you're going to have a towing thing on your license, I think you should at least have to do an online safety video, watch a half-hour safety video, tips and tricks when towing, to let you know how to load your caravan properly, what to look for, what to do, what not to do. And then you have to pass a little 20 questionnaires or something online, and then you go in with your little certificate to Queensland Transport and go, I just did my online training, passed my test. At least it's better than nothing, isn't it? We'll never get to the stage where you get tested to tow a caravan. Queensland Transport will never do that. They haven't got the staff to do it. I think there should be some sort of training for towing a caravan. Anyway, how many times do you see people get in a caravan park and they can't reverse a caravan? If you're gonna tow a caravan, you've got to know how to reverse everyone. If you can't reverse a caravan, don't tow one. All right? Or get one, go out somewhere and practice your ass off so you know how to do it. A lot of people get into a bloody caravan park and hope that the caravan park's got a little tow motor so that they can put their van in for them. Like, learn how to reverse, everyone. Learn how to reverse. It just takes practice. That's all it does. Weights is a big thing, loading trailers. And yeah, Ivan and Lisa, absolutely. You put too much weight at the end of the caravan and you start fishtailing, guys. Steve Richards, great idea, but require an online training for towing. Well, I think so. It's better than nothing, Steve, isn't it? I'd love to see people have to actually pass a towing test and reverse the caravan or your trailer in between them witches' hats or something. We'll never get to that stage. Queensland Transport under the pump as it is to get people through for their normal driver's license. But even if you have to go into the Department of Transport, if you haven't got your home computer, they have computers there, and you sit down and you watch a half-hour video, a proper instructional video on towing, all the safety things, what to look for when you're hooking up. If you're DO35 hitch, make sure this is on. When you're hooking up to a normal tow ball, make sure you've got to have rated safety chains, and just a half-hour instructional video. And then at the end of the video, you've got to pass a little 15 or 20 question thing and get bloody 80% right or whatever. And then you print out a little certificate, or it goes to your phone, and you go up to the counter and go, I'll just watch the practical test on the computer, pass my test. It's better than nothing. At least you've learned something. People have never towed before. In Queensland at the moment, you can go and get your learner license, hook a caravan up with your learner plates on, and drive at 100 kilometres an hour on the highway on your first day as a learner with a caravan behind you. That's bullshit. I don't agree with that, but you can do that in Queensland. Big Trav, what do you think of the new 2026 Ford Ranger? I haven't seen it, mate. Are you talking about the Super Duty, the Ranger Super Duty, Trav? The big 4.5 ton one? Yeah, the Super Duty. I saw another Ranger going on the back of a flatbed tie. We were at Narrabri Showgrounds, and the old couple beside me had a very new looking Ford Ranger, and she was going on the back of a flatbed. I don't know. So anyway, my biggest worry with the new Ford Super Duty when it comes out next year, guys, is it's got a down-tuned 3-litre V6 in it, the same as the normal Ranger, and it hasn't got as much power, but yet you're going to be loading it up more. So it's got a 4.5 ton GVM, 4.5 ton towing. It's the same 3-litre V6 as the Rangers have got, but then they say, oh, you can tow 4.5 ton and all that. I don't know. I still think that Super Duty needs a small V8 in it. I'm I'm skeptical on whether that V6 is going to do the job on the Super Duties, especially when they're towing big loads. Phil Taylor, tow more weight with the motor. No, I agree with you there, Phil. Me and Phil actually had a quick chat about this. I said, Phil's got the Wild Track guys, new Ranger Wild Track, beautiful vehicle, and went for a drive with Phil in his, and certainly got some get up and go and all that. And Phil said he's really happy how it tows his Jayco all-terrain. He said it pulls hard and everything, but it's the same engine in the Ranger Super Duty next year, guys, and they're going to be asking more of it. And whether you're a Ford fan or not, Ford are having some problems with their engines. And they reckon, it's going to be all sorted out. Well, okay, we'll see. Yeah, the 300 series is a 3.3 litre V6. Yeah. Any car brand get put on the back of a flatbed's only reason you see Rangers is they sell more. Yeah, true, mate, true. Like Jaycos. People go, Jaycos have, Jaycos have got probably 50% of the market, haven't they? The more vehicles out, the more Jaycos out there, the more problems you're going to have, the more Rangers out there. But yeah, it's, no way I would touch a 2-litre Ranger with that wet belt. Have you seen what they got to do to replace that? They've got to pull half the engine apart and all the suspension to get everything. Ridiculous. Like a 2-day job to replace the wet timing belt in those 2-litre Rangers. I don't think the V6s have got it. So anyway, we'll see what happens there. Yeah, so the old BT50, she's got to go in for a gearbox repairs, everyone. I knew when they were doing the fault finding and they were testing the engine mounts, the gearbox mounts, pulling the tail shafts off and checking the uni joints, seeing if they were causing the vibration in 5th gear, came back, none of it's, and I just thought, I'm going to have to drop the gearbox on this. They're narrowing it down, and it's all pointing to something going on inside the gearbox. Well, guess what? I know there's definitely something going on in the gearbox now in 6th gear because I can't put it in the 6. It's making a funny noise. So time for that gearbox to come out. I'm going to have to cop it up the clacker for a couple of green. I don't know. What's it going to be? 3 or 4 green maybe? We'll see what happens. No, Paulie. No, we're not getting a new Jayco caravan, mate. As beautiful as yours was, we're not getting a new Jayco van, especially one like yours, mate. A pop top is non-optional for us. We need a pop top caravan. Otherwise, I've got nowhere to store it. And you can't leave a caravan out up here. It will be wrecked in 2 years because of the sun and the amount of rain we get. It'd be wrecked, mate. So that caravan, we're really happy with it, mate. We're happy with that caravan. I've got to get a new water pump put in it. The water pump bloody sprung a leak, guys. So that's minor shit. I have bigger issues on at the moment than a friggin' water pump in a caravan. I got a gearbox to get rebuilt in the BT50. Once that's done, if I've got any money left over, I'll tow her up the Jayco in Cairns, an hour away, 90 k's up the roads, the Jayco dealer, and I'll get them to put a new water pump in and get that hot water system thing replaced. Not that it needs, you said it's wearing and that, so I'll get them to look at that and run their eye over underneath the caravan and make sure everything looks all right. But yeah, I've got to get the gearbox sorted, mate. Anyway, the BT50 got me home in 5th gear, everyone. It was vibrating. At least it was a stage there where I said to Roz, I think we're going to go home on a flatbed north of Rocky when I heard that noise in 6th gear. Put her into 5th, and all I had was a vibration in the gear stick. But she got us home, guys. She travelled well. It travelled really well. It's just that, yeah, I've got some gearbox problems that need getting sorted out. So anyway, it's all good. Where we go, we went to, this is where we stayed on our trip, everyone. First day we went down to Bowen. That was a pretty big haul. 3 hours to Townsville and then 2.5 hours to Bowen there. Then our second night we stayed at the Yamba pub north of Rockhampton. Had a great burger there at the pub. Then we stayed at Kilkeven, which is where Steve and Annie recently stayed, at the Kilkeven free camp area there near the old railway station, straight across from the pub. We went to the Kilkeven Hotel, got pork belly bites as an entree. I'm not keen on pork, guys, but I had one of the pork belly bites and I thought, if this tastes porky, I'm out of here. It was bloody beautiful. I don't know what they put on there. It didn't taste anything like, but it was just beautiful. And we had a beef curry and rice each, and it was beautiful. So the Kilkeven Hotel, really good countery there. Then the next night we punched over the border into Tenterfield. You would have seen the video. That was my first part one video over into Tenterfield, and I went and saw the Tenterfield Saddler, Peter Allen. One thing I didn't realise, guys, until I listened to the lyrics, I actually listened to Peter Allen sing the song. George Woolnough was his granddad. When I did the video, I didn't know that, and it wasn't until I listened to the song I went, he's singing about his granddad. I should have known that, but I didn't. John, do you know of Peter Allen, mate? I mean, he went over and he was pretty big in America, and he married Liza Minnelli, who was Judy Garland's daughter. So he was a big name in America, but he was born in a little country town just across the New South Wales-Queensland border there of Tenterfield. And George Woolnough was his granddad. He used to make saddles, the Tenterfield Saddler. And you listen to the song, it's like, if you wanted to know anything about dogs and birds and all that, people would go into the saddlery and have a chat with his granddad, George Woolnough. And while he's making his saddles, he'd talk about all sorts of stuff. And then it sounded like his dad may have been an alcoholic or something, Peter Allen. And then he talked about George Woolnogh's grandson went overseas and changed his name. He's talking about himself there. It was Peter Woolnough. And he changed his name, his stage name, to Peter Allen. Why people change their names, I don't know. No clue. Okay, mate, yeah. John, look up. Mate, he was a pretty big name. He sang in the United States, in New York, and he was a big deal over there. Peter Allen, and he another one, I Still Call Australia Home. Beautiful song, mate. Look up Peter Allen, Tenterfield Saddler. It's a beautiful song. It is a really, really beautiful song. And Peter Allen, I Still Call Australia Home. Another one of his things. So he made it big overseas, married Judy Garland's daughter, Liza Minnelli. So he made it big in the showbiz industry over there. And Hugh Jackman played Peter Allen in a stage show, and Hugh Jackman played Peter Allen. So, yeah, he was a big deal, mate. Yes, David Bowie's real name was Davy Jones, and I think Bowie changed it because there was a Davy Jones was the lead singer of the Monkees. Mark, remember Davy Jones was the lead singer of the Monkees, which is, I think, around the same time. Monkees were big deal back then. They were like America's version of the Beatles. Davy Jones, so you had Mickey Dolenz was the drummer of the Monkees, Peter Tork, the guitarist, and Mike Nesmith was the other guitarist. And then they were all American guys. And then Davy Jones was a little pommy fella. And he was the lead singer of the Monkees. I used to love the Monkees when I was a young bloke. They had some really good songs, didn't they? Really, really good songs. And Neil Diamond, I think it was. Neil Diamond wrote some of their songs. I think it was Neil Diamond wrote quite a few of the Monkey songs for them. They were a big deal back then. Yeah, so Bowie changed his name from Davy Jones because of Davy Jones was the lead singer of the Monkees. So there you go. Yeah, so anyway, John, do yourself a favour after this, mate, and get on YouTube and go Peter Allen, Tenterfield Saddler. It's a beautiful song, mate, and he's talking about George Woolnough, his bloody grandfather, who made horse saddles at a little town called Tenterfield. Yeah, watching that, I was sitting there watching that building the other day, and I just thought, you know what, this is pretty special building, this. And Peter Allen's sung a famous song about it. So anyway, Tommy Oliver. Tom's having a chat with Ed there. Yeah, so I think let me know what you think of it, John. Send me an email and let me know. And also, I Still Call Australia Home. Absolute beautiful song. Peter Allen again, mate. He was a talented dude, mate. He very good on the piano and that. And as I said, made it big in the United States. Real big. Peter Allen. And you would have seen my story there, everyone, about the opening of the Sydney Entertainment Centre in 1983, which was a big deal. And I got dirked in to bloody be part of that. I got volunteered. They apparently all the army units in around the Sydney area had to provide a certain amount of soldiers. We didn't know what for. We thought we'd be there helping set up chairs or, like in behind the scenes, just assisting with the show. It was a pretty big deal. As I said, John Denver performed that night, Peter Allen. Christopher Cross was a big American singer, but Ride Like the Wind or something was one of his famous songs. And Paul Hogan was there. Daryl Braithwaite, Marsha Hines. John, you wouldn't know them. They're big Aussie names. And it was hosted by Bert Newton and not Mike Willisey. I'll think of his name in a minute, the other bloke. Anyway, yeah, it was a big deal. And I got me rough head. I remember I was sitting there doing the aerobic, and I looked to me right, and there's a dirty big TV camera pointing straight at my head. And I rang Mum and Dad the next day. They said, we saw you on TV last night at the thing. Oh, yeah, I know. I got Dirk into doing that. So anyway, it's pretty good. Richard Simmons, I remember, and I'd said this on the thing, it was a Sunday morning. We'd rehearsed all day Saturday. We had no idea what we were doing. We did not know we were going to be working with Richard Simmons. We didn't know. We thought, why are we doing aerobics? What have they set us up for? Saturday afternoon, we had a break and we went up and we watched Peter Allen, John Denver, Christopher Cross. We watched them rehearsing. We were sitting up where the crowd was, and there was just the army guys, and we were down there watching them rehearse. It was incredible. Back then, I didn't think much of it because I only a young bloke. I didn't really know much about John Denver and Peter Allen and that. But boy, oh boy, fast forward now, they were some pretty big names back then. And on the Sunday morning, we got back in there early morning, and the girls that were in those bloody green, little skimpy green things, a couple of them were the ones who were teaching us the dancing things. And we said, what are we doing this for? And they were very secretive about it. Anyway, we all smoked back in those days. We're having a 10-minute smoke break in between rehearsals, and the doors burst open. I still remember this. And he's going, off your tushies. And it was Richard Simmons had come in. And he's going, get off your tushies. Why are you smoking? Why are you smoking? He's getting everyone for smoking. Oh, he's as camp as a row of tents, Richard Simmons. But he was a funny guy. Bloody funny as. Anyway, and then he started taking us through the routine, and he was just motivating us. He's going, come on, get your legs up. And like he does, he was really, really motivational and good fun to work with and made everyone laugh and that. He's a really nice guy. He passed away recently, didn't he? Last year or the year before, maybe, Richard Simmons. And he used to be a big fat prick, and he lost a lot of weight. And that's when he became big in the aerobics scene, doing aerobics with Richard Simmons and that over in the United States. So anyway, it was a good experience. I kind of forgot all about that until I went to the other day, the Tenterfield Sadler, and I was talking about Peter Allen. And that's what made me think about the Sydney Entertainment Centre opening night, because Peter Allen was one of the big acts performing on that thing. So Mike Walsh, thank you. Yeah, Bert Newton and Mike Walsh. And they were on elephants that night out on stage. When they came, the two hosts, they came out on elephants, all dressed up and all that. So they were two really big names in Australian TV, John, back in those days. Bert Newton, he was a wonderful compere, Bert Newton. He really was. Old Moonface, they used to call him. Gary's off. See you, Gary. Yeah, mate. Catch you later, mate. I've got a few more things to talk about. Some exciting items I've got in front of me, guys. I'm going to show you in a minute. We're going to have a chat about them. Anyway, I reckon this series, there's another one coming out on Wednesday, guys, from Southwest Rocks, where me and Roz and Gidgey are in Southwest Rocks in New South Wales. We'll go to Trial Bay Jail, which was got a great story behind it. And then we go to some other nice little places, Crescent Head and places like that. Show you some beautiful, John, you'll see some beautiful beaches and countryside. The whole coastline in New South Wales, mate, is stunning. It is beautiful. It really is. And you know what? I saw a lot of inland New South Wales on this trip, and it was equally as beautiful. That some of that coming down through Dorrigo and that, some of the best cattle and sheep country I've ever seen. It was just stunning. I'm an old country boy at heart, guys. I love looking out and seeing green rolling hills and cows and sheep in the paddocks and all that. I love seeing that. I get depressed when I see dry, barren, dusty shitholes that some of Australia looks like. But when you see beautiful farmland and all that type of stuff, it's incredible. Who else? I'm gonna put a poll up, guys. Or is it just me? Who? I'm going to type it and then who? Who? Is it just me? Or who looks for firewood as they're driving along? I don't know what it is with you, but as I'm driving along, I'll look over into a paddock or whatever, and I see all these dry timber and that, and I just think, oh, that's good firewood. That'd be great firewood. The whole trip, I just think to myself, look at the firewood over there. And you just think about going over there with a chainsaw and chopping up firewood. Does anyone else do that, or is it just me? I'm always looking out for firewood. Not that you're going to stop and get any, but I just see all this beautiful, dry, dead trees that have fallen over and all that. And they've been falling over for a couple of years, and you're just saying, oh, that'd be good firewood. Look at all that firewood there. Or is it just me? I do it all the time. I can't help it. I just associate every tree that's fallen over with, is that good firewood or not? And coming down through, when you turn off at Tyro, guys, come down through Kilkeven and Yarraman and Nanango and Gameri, and there's just firewood everywhere in the paddocks. And I always just think, why aren't the farmers out there bloody with their chainsaw and put her on the side of the road, put her in bags, chop her up, put her in bags and sell it? Like, there's firewood everywhere. Yeah, John says 100% looking for firewood all day, every day. Grew up with a wood stove. There you go. Worst mistake I ever made was talking about a wood stove. Was taking the wood stove out of our current house. I would love to get hold of my grandmother, John. They lived on a farm, and I remember as a young kid, Mama, the family, we used to call our grandmum Mama, and you'd be there on school holidays, and I used to work in the shearing sheds and all that type of stuff, and my dad would go out and help bloody harvest the wheat, and like Mum's side of her brothers all own farms around the Linevale, Texas area on the Queensland, New South Wales border. You'd wake up in the morning out on the farm, and you'd hear magpies chirping, you'd hear the birds going, and you could smell food cooking. Mama would be up cooking a hot breakfast for all the boys, for Poppy and the sons and all that had come over for breakfast before they went out for their day's work in the shearing sheds and all that. And they never just had cornflakes and wheat bix and cereal and shit. They had steak, sausages, tomato and onion gravy, toast, bubble and squeak, leftover mashed potato, leftover vegetables mashed up and then fried up into a bubble and squeak. Mama would be up cooking, and my job as a young fella was to go out. Mum and Dad go out and chop Mama some wood. So she had a massive wood pile out the back, and you go out there. God knows how many tiger snakes I bloody nearly stood on down there. But anyway, you chop the wood and bring in a big armload of wood, and Mama had the old fire stove where you open her up, bloody put a couple more in, and Mama would cook meals that would rival Gordon Ramsay and that in their commercial bloody kitchens. You know what? How they were brought up in the days, the women, they were all bloody good cooks and that. And you'd be in the shearing shed, and then Auntie Eileen and Mama and they'd come over to the shearing sheds with trays of freshly baked scones with jam and cream and that. And Uncle Mick would go, "Smoko," which was smoke break back in those days. And they'd have billies of tea, and everyone would sit on the wool bales, billies of tea and trays of sandwiches and scones with jam and cream, and lunchtime a big thing of stew would come up with rice, and Mama would just spend all day cooking on her wood stove for the shearers and all that type of stuff. Good days, eh? Good days. Toast and eggs, yeah. Can't be that. Actually, we had toast with scrambled eggs and bacon this morning. Rosie got up and said, I feel like bacon and eggs. So Ros can cook up a mean bacon and eggs, everyone. Bloody, see you, Phil. Phil's off, is he? One of the Phils is off. Anyway, so there you go. Yeah. 78% of you reckon you're like me. You drive along looking for firewood in the paddocks. And the time where you do need firewood, you go, all right, I'm going to start looking for firewood because I'm going to have a fire tonight at the campsite. There'll be none around. So the trick is, everyone, is the closer you get to your campsite, the less firewood there's going to be, because everyone does the same thing. They go looking for firewood. The best thing is, if you know you're going to need firewood, start collecting it a long way from your campsite, because the closer you get to camp, the less firewood there's going to be, because everyone keeps collecting it. Speaking of camping, I'm going to show you a couple of items here, guys, and then we'll call it a day, because I've got more cleaning to do. I was out camping, this camp season anyway. Camp season's done for me now, guys. Even if I wanted to go camping, I've got to get that BT50 fixed. So that's camping season for this year. It was a good one. Probably didn't do as much as I wanted to, but anyway, topped it off with a cracking event down there at Clarence Town. I had a cup of tea a couple of camps ago out of my cheap bloody tin billy from BCF, and it tasted tinny. It had that tinny taste to it, and I thought, you know what? I don't enjoy this cup of tea. Tastes tinny. And I reckon it's the billy, that cheap-ass bloody billy from BCF. It's good for, it's made out of like a light aluminium or tin or whatever, guys. Aluminium and aluminum, John. And it's good for washing up water and that. But when you have a cup of tea out of it, the cup of tea tastes tinny. And I thought, you know what? And then Gidgy goes to get me a bloody billy the other day at the markets, and the guy made him out of galvanized. And someone said you can't make a billy out of galvanized. It can become toxic when you boil it. So I blew me money there. I sent an email to the guy and said, mate, you can't make billies out of galvanized thing. So I got online and went stainless steel billy, and it came up. Bunnings had them, but only online. You could only get them online. So I ordered one. It was $50, everyone, which is a bit for a billy, but it's stainless steel. Here it is. It was waiting for me when I got back from the camp, and I'll tell you what, it is a beauty. There it is there. That's very similar to the one that I've got now, but it's out of a really thin aluminium or like a tin. This is stainless, guys. It's exactly the same as the other one. The Vicks will love it. It's got a spout on it. Timmy Bates has got a spout on his billy. I know a lot of billies, people don't even have a spout, but it is handy having the spout on your billy there. It's stainless steel, everyone. It is really, really well made. It's got like a, I don't know if that's a strainer or not, but I've got a tea strainer. So there it is there. It's got the lid. It's got a really good, that feels a lot more solid. So if I'm swinging the billy around my head to settle the tea leaves, everyone, that certainly feels a lot sturdier than the other one, because I've done a couple of swing around the head ones and I was waiting for it to let go and go flying. So that's my new, it's got a pourer there. It's not broken in yet, guys, but that is a very, very good quality stainless steel billy. There's my new billy, everyone. So next camping season, you'll see me break that in over the Aussie Campfire Kitchen. And, you know, I can use the other one for if I just want to boil water for washing up or whatever. But this one now will be my one for making cups of tea and that, guys. The stainless steel. So $50 online at Bunnings. It's stainless steel. It isn't made out of aluminium. And you get a lot of that aluminium or aluminum. John's up me for saying aluminium. It's aluminum. And it gets like a white, I don't know. It's just something about that cheap shit. Anyway, this is stainless steel. It feels really, really well made. I don't know where Bunnings get them, China, no doubt, but it is a lot better quality than the little cheap one I got from BCF, guys. So there's my new Billy. Happy with that. Now, the other item that was waiting for me when I got home is camping bag from Vortrekker. Now, the guy who designed these bags, everyone, is an ex-Aussie soldier. He was a captain in RAME, Royal Australian Electrical and Mechanical Engineers, and he spent a lot of time in armoured units and actually knows Tony Purdy. Good mates with Tony Purdy. Small world, isn't it? The boys from Legends for Charity, Vortrekker is getting on board with the Legends of Charity down in Victoria next year for the 2026 Legends for Charity camp up. Anyway, they had Vortrekker on, Stevie's real name is, guys. They had him on there and they're talking about his bags. And I looked at it and I thought, you know what? I shouldn't, but I'm going to. I cannot help myself when I see a good item. It was about $270. It's not cheap, guys, but it was waiting for me. I've put it together, and it's got a bit of weight to it, I must say. There it is there, the Vortrekker camping bag, guys. And what it is basically, is this the, I'm still getting used to it. There you go, there. So in the end, that's where your boots go. So you put your smelly bloody boots and stuff in there. That's separated from your clothes. So you've got a thing there. It came with a Vortrekker Aussie flag patch. I've put a Southern Cross patch on there as well. So there's a section there for your boots to go in. You put a couple of sets of, your runners and all that. You don't want your bloody, if your shoes smell a bit, you don't want them in with your clean clothes, do you? So it's got a separate boot compartment there. Boot, shoes, flip-flops, thongs, we call them, flip-flops. And in the top, you've got, it's compartmentized there. It's a bit hard to show you on the thing, but so it's all compartmentized. So you can separate your undies, your T-shirts, your shorts, instead of you throwing everything into a bag and then you've got to rumble through to find a set of jocks. Everything here's got, it's compartmentized. That's a big word, compartmentized. And you can separate it all there. But on the inside, pouches there. You've got a Velcro on toiletry bag for your toothbrush, your toothpaste, your shower gel and all that. Velcro's on. You've got another pouch there. You can put other stuff in there. Steve Fuller and that, you can put your hair dye in that one. Couldn't help myself there. And on the other, there's pouches there. It's got a shoulder strap too. Where's the bloody zip for this? It's a bit hard when there's nothing in there. It's another front pouch there. So you got a front pouch there with Velcro, and you can slide stuff down in there. Bloody really good bag. So I've put my own Velcro patches, Raffer and Buckaroony, and my little veteran patch there. And then the thing. So yeah, that's the Vortrekker bag. It's got a bit of weight. I don't know if it'd be one that you'd take to the airport and all that, but if you want to throw this in the back of your four-wheel drive, guys, and have all your clothes and that, if you're after something at night, you undo the lid and you know exactly where your shorts are. You know what I mean? You can bloody separate all your clothing. So that's the Vortrekker, bloody camping bag there. It's got some weight to it. The missus put the Rafa patch on hers. Oh, good stuff. So there you go. I bought the Vortrekker bag, guys. So I think it's vortrekker.com.au. Get on, support Steve. They're a fantastic bag. I don't know if for airport, if you're flying at airports, and that's probably not the bag for that. And even he says that on his YouTube clip. He says more of a bag to put in the back of your four-wheel drive so you can just unzip it and you know where everything, and what that comes from, guys, and John will know what I'm talking about here. When you're out bush in the army, you had your backpack and your webbing. You knew where everything was. If you wanted a magazine, spare magazine, they were obviously in your ammo pouch. If you wanted your first aid kit, you knew where it was. If you wanted a muesli bar, you knew exactly what pouch of your muesli bars were in. If you wanted a water bottle. You knew where your water bottles were. If you wanted bloody, everything had a place. And that's exactly why he's designed that bag, guys, and it's compartmentized. So you undo it, you know where your undies are, you know where your shorts are, you know where your T-shirts are, you know where your boots are. You want to throw some boots on, go to the boot compartment, pull them out. So, and it comes to the laundry. Inside there is a laundry bag. So if you've got dirty washing, you throw it in the laundry bag, do it up, and that way you don't have your dirty clothes mixing in with your fresh clothes. So there is a laundry bag that comes with it as well. Vortrekker.com.au, guys. They're bloody very, very good bag. Better for the camping side of things rather than airport. There's no wheels and all that. You're better off with probably a suitcase on wheels for if you're walking around airports and that. Shower gel. Did I mention shower gel? I use shower gel because I'm not allergic to soap. Soap, like proper cake soap, makes my skin really, really itchy. So I use shower gel and the old, what do they call? The scrunchy thing, the loofah things. Keep your skin nice and clean. Shower gel. Come on. You Marines used to use shower gel, I'm sure of it. Hey, a couple of other items I want to show you guys. Bit of a story behind them. I was going through my cupboard the other day and I forgot I had this. Whoever had one of these? This one is in poor. This is unusable now. Look at the rust and shit on it. The old cutthroat razor. Look at it. My God, it's gone now. That's unfixable. That's rust, just too old. I've never shaved with one of them, I must admit. When you go to a barber now, guys, they have these, but they have the ones that you can put a disposable razor blade in. Okay, so they're not allowed to, by law now, I don't think you're allowed to use the same razor blade on because of the blood contamination laws. If you nick someone, you can't, you can get bloody HIV or something from it. So that law came in a long time ago. That there, I used to also have a leather strop for it, and Lofty Evans made that for me. So guys in the old days used to shave with the old cutthroat, they used to call them, and in between shaves they get the leather strop and go like that on the leather, and it used to put the edge back on. So there, the old cutthroat razor, everyone. I wouldn't mind getting a new one of them and actually have a go at shaving with one. When we first went to Kapuka basic training, we had the razors. I'm not quite that old where I used those, but we used to have the razors where you wound it up at the bottom and it opened up and you drop the razor blade in. It was a double-sided razor blade, and then you'd wind it back down, and it was they used to call it a safety razor. Tell you what, you could nick yourself good with those things, let me tell you. So remember the old razor blade? You drop a razor blade in, and so bloody shaving with those things, that could be dangerous as well. The other thing I found in the cupboard the other day, everyone, was that. Who remembers that? Who knows what that is? That is my dad's last ever tobacco tin. And I'll tell you why. Mum said that was Dad's last tobacco tin. Still got the tobacco in there. The old tally-ho papers. And that one there, I remember Dad used to smoke log cabin fine cut. So you get tobacco now, everyone. It's in a pouch and it's already rubbed. And you just pull it out, put it in the paper and roll it up. This stuff here, it was like really coarse. And you used to have to pull it out, put it in your hand, go like that with your hand and rub it yourself. So you used to get tobacco that was ready rubbed. This stuff was just cut tobacco. So you'd have to grind it up with your hands and then put it in your tally-ho paper. Poke the ends of it in with a match. And I always say, Dad, can I roll you a smoke? And I used to love rolling Dad a smoke. The reason Dad had to give up smoking, guys, 1981, Dad was a police officer and got stabbed badly in September 1981. Almost lost his life, got stabbed 11 times. Nutcase with a knife. Back in those days, John, coppers didn't carry guns here, like the Poms. You could carry a gun. Dad never carried a gun in his whole life. He just come across the wrong bloke one day and He was wanted for attempted abduction of a young girl, and Dad cornered him on a road, him and a young constable, and the bloke, Dad searched him. Dad actually searched him, patted his pockets down and that, and said, "Right, mate, you're under arrest." Didn't handcuff him. Dad probably didn't even have handcuffs on him. Opened the back of the car up, said, "Get in the police car." Oh, mate, reached down the front of his pants and pulled out a big flick knife. And Dad thought, "Oh, shit." Dad tried to kick the knife out of his hand, and he got Dad in the rib, and then got him in the neck and all that type of stuff. I did a live feed on it once and showed some pretty horrific photos of that event. I've got them over there. They were the official court photos. Old mate got done for 2 attempted murders and an attempted rape of the young girl, and they got downgraded to friggin' grievous bodily harm and deprivation of liberty. Like, can you believe that's just the weak-gutted Australian justice system? Anyway, so when he pulled the knife, Dad should have probably had a gun on him and given him a third eye. The worst injury Dad had from that event, he was stabbing Dad. He got him in the neck. He got him he's just about disemboweled Dad, and got Dad in the rib, between the ribs, punctured a lung, and Dad actually grabbed him and took him to ground while he was still getting stabbed and wrapped his legs around him. While he was doing that, the young constable came over and bloody tried to dive on him, and he got the knife into the young constable when he went to dive on him too. Dad still had his legs wrapped around him, and he couldn't get away from Dad. So what he did is he got the knife and he cut Dad's Achilles tendon in half. And that was the worst injury that Dad had after that. He never walked again properly for the rest of his life. Dad passed away at 87. Never walked again properly after that. Got no compensation, guys. There was no workers' comp or anything back in those days, 1981. Third copper turned up and booted him in the head. And anyway, that prick's dead now, apparently. He got 12 years in jail and got out and sexually assaulted a nurse, and he was a piece of shit. Anyway, he's dead now, apparently, so he's in his place. Hopefully he went down, not up. And because Dad lost a lung in that episode, he had to give smoking up. And that was his last ever, that was the tobacco tin he had when he got stabbed, and he never touched a cigarette again after that because he punctured his lungs and all that. So the old log cabin fine cut, you see how coarse it is? The old fine cut tobacco. Does anyone still smoke this? Can you still get log cabin? I don't smoke, guys. Can you still get bloody Champion Ruby? That was a popular brand of, when I smoked as a young bloke, everyone, I was never a full-on smoker, but I have smoked in the past. I smoked Bank tobacco called Bank, B-A-N-K, and it was you put it in it was a rolly type thing, but it smelt like pipe tobacco. I used to love the smell of pipe tobacco, that cherry, that real sweet cherry type. Ever smelt someone smoking pipe tobacco? It smells beautiful. If smoking wasn't expensive and bad for your health, I'd do it. I reckon I'd do it. But I don't do it for health reasons, guys. I haven't had a bloody smoke in my mouth since the year 2000. And even then I was just doing it because I was bored. As over in East Timor, and these kids were selling Indonesian clove cigarettes, and they were sickly. They had like a clove thing. And we used to buy them 5 cents each or something from these kids on the side of the road in East Timor selling these Indonesian cigarettes, and they were like a clove cigarette. And after, you'd have one and you feel green around the gills and sick after smoking one of them. That's the last time I've ever had a smoke in my mouth, guys. I was going to say, last time I've ever had a fag in my mouth. You can't say that anymore. John, a fag in the old days, Dad would say, roll me a fag. A fag was a nickname for a cigarette. A fag was a cigarette. Now a fag is something totally different, and you can't say I've had a few fags in my mouth in the time because it means something totally different now. Back in my day, having a fag in your mouth was you had a cigarette in your mouth, a rollie. Yeah. John saying, love pipe tobacco, cigars. Yes, cigars. I used to smoke a cigar called, just when we were out camping, and that me and some boys used to smoke, and it was called a Philly Titan, and it had that real sweet. It was almost like they'd been dipped in rum or something. A Philly Titan. Some of the cigars are disgusting. They're just like smoking cow shit. But the Philly Titan cigars, they were like the bank. They had a really sweet smell about them, like they'd been dipped in cherry or rum or something. Grant's on, guys, from Four Wheeling in New South Wales. G'day, everyone. Has everyone seen the clip I did with Grant? That little cooker, the Damo cooker. What a bloody good little bit of kit. And if I get in trouble, Grant, it's your fault. So what's that? It's a great little cooker, that one. More than one purpose. You can use it as a frying pan, a steamer, a slow cooker. I think if you're going to have a bit of camping gear, guys, and it can do multiple purposes, I think that's the way to go. I smoked Port Royal for years. Yes, that had the sweet smell too from memory. Yeah, no, it's good. I used to smoke Cuban cigars wrapped in chocolate paper. Jennifer G. How expensive were they, Jennifer? Oh, goodness me. I watched Arnold Schwarzenegger the other day, how he used to smoke. He still smokes cigars, and he used to dip them in tequila or something. Like, there's all different ways of. I remember there was a place in, where was it? I forget where it was now. It was actually a cigar lounge. And after the nightclubs and that, you could go up to this really nice lounge place, a bit of piano music playing. You could get a cocktail or a beer, and sit down in comfort in a nice quiet area, a bit of piano music instead of a noisy nightclub, and you could buy a cigar. They'd have all these different cigars, and you could actually sit there and have a beer or a cocktail and a cigar, listen to a bit of piano music. Anyway, they were the good old days. You can't even smoke indoors anymore, so those things have all probably gone now. $250 each. Buy a box of 100. My God. What's that? $25,000 worth of cigars. They're dear. That's dearer than bloody drugs. Mike Blakely is on, everyone. Mike's finally gone. Buck's on. When I was a kid, how long you been on, Mike? That's the first time I've seen your name come on. When I was a kid, I watched a neighbour slowly waste away from emphysema. Cured me from ever wanting to smoke anything. Yeah, I can imagine, Mike. Yeah, it's no good for you. Eh? Nothing good comes of smoking. Mind you, it was relaxing to sit down out bush in the army when you had a bit of downtime, roll a smoke and have a smoke. You weren't allowed to technically smoke when you're on gun picket or anything like that, but I have smoked in the past, guys, but I've never been a full-on smoker where it got hold of me. Like, I used to just do it out bush in the army or when I got on the piss type thing. I was never, ever a full-on smoker. Personally, I wish I'd never, ever put a cigarette in my mouth ever. I'm spewing all either. Gidgy Gorilla, guys, has never, ever had a puff of a cigarette. Something he's proud of. He said, I've never even had a puff of a cigarette. And I wish I was the same. I wish I hadn't done it as well. So anyway, righto, guys, before we go, how long have I been on? Hour 38. That's about it. I saw that in the cupboard the other day. I thought I'd tell you the story about Dad's last bloody tobacco tin. Dad also had a tobacco tin, old Aboriginal guy out in Cunnamulla. He used to sand that off, and he used to engrave the top of the tobacco tin. And he said, "Here, Sarge, here's one of your wife," and that. It looked nothing like Mum, but it was still bloody very, very well done. The other thing we had too from an old Aboriginal man out in Cunnamulla was they used to get an emu egg, which are massive, put a pinprick at each end of the emu and blow the yolk out of it, probably cook it up or whatever, and then they would engrave and do artwork on the outside of an emu egg. Has anyone ever seen that done? They look unbelievable. If anyone's ever seen an emu egg with artwork on the outside, looks really, really good. Ray Newman's having a chat with Grant there. If I ever get the months, years to live, I'll start smoking and drinking scotch again. Been 25 years free of both. Yeah, me too, mate. Me too. So, no, it's expensive, isn't it? But as I said, I wish I'd never smoked at all. It's no bloody good for you. It can catch up on you. I've smoked in the past, guys. There's nothing saying that one day I do a blood test and they go, you got cancer, you got lung cancer, mate. You can get lung cancer and be a non-smoker too. So it depends. But smoking's no good for you. And it's bloody... Cheers from Inverell. Paulie George. G'day, mate. We were going to go down through Inverell. Went a different way, mate. But did we go through... No, we didn't go through Inverell at all. That's the... I can't remember if we went through bloody Inverell. What's that? Thunderbolts Way. Inverell's on Thunderbolts Way, isn't it? That's a beautiful drive down through there. Chrissy Lawler's on. G'day, Chris. How are you? Yeah, guys. So I haven't got much more to say. I've said everything I want to say. Fantastic camping event down at the Camping with Mates. Once again, to all the guys who organised that camping event, you know who you are. Thank you so much. That was a wonderful, wonderful event. And one thing I think, and this is my personal opinion, guys, when I ran the Harvey Bay event on the Thursday night, and this is maybe for Ed and Naz, when you run a camping event like that, the Friday night at the Camping with Mates was fantastic. Everyone come down. There was wood-fired pizzas. How good were the wood-fired pizzas and that? One thing, if I ever ran a camping event again, which I'm not going to, I would run a trivia night. I think I ran one in Harvey Bay, and it was absolutely fantastic. Everyone comes down to the main area, gets in groups of 4 or 5 people, and then you get 4 or 5 people up on stage, and you ask, say, at Harvey Bay, for example, I got up and asked 15 questions. So you work as a team. You can have prizes and that for the winners. And then I remember Phil the Maniac got up and he asked questions. Steve Fuller, Snorky got up and that. And we ran a trivia night. Everyone sitting around the campfires, their little campfires and that in their camp chairs and just working as a team. It's a good way to get people together and just bring everyone together. So anyone who runs one of these camping events, keep the trivia nights in mind. I think they are a really, really good way to get everyone down, and you can get other people up. Like Jack Turtle might have been able to get up and say 15 questions. They can be questions about anything. No one's allowed to use their phone and Google and all that type of stuff. Trivia nights are a really good way when you're running the camping event to get everyone together and give everyone a really, really good time. Once the trivia is over, everyone stays down there sitting around the campfires, talking, having a beer and all that type of stuff. So, but that event there, that was bloody really, really good. The pizza, a guy turned up in his mobile pizza, wood-fired pizza van, and the pizzas were sensational. That chili, did anyone have the chili one? The chili pizza was sensational. It was bloody beautiful. I don't think you can beat a good wood-fired pizza. There's something about a wood-fired pizza that just leaves the rest of them for dead. It really does. We had a chat. Me and Marky Lavelle had a chat with the guy and his wife, and anyway, the couple of girls and the guy, and yeah, really, really nice bloke. Used to be an electrician, and he said, no, I just do wood-fired pizzas on the weekends now for weddings, and you can just keep pumping the pizzas out till everyone's full, and during the week, he's got a little excavator and he just digs trenches and all that. He said, I'll give away the electrical side of things. He said, I just love doing this now, cooking pizzas on weekends and for weddings and all that type of stuff, get together. Yes, Jace Muller, it was, mate, that chili pizza. He did all sorts of ones, meat lovers and pepperoni and cheese and just simple pizza. But one came out and it had pepperoni, capsicum, peppers, as Mike and John would call them. We call it capsicum. And some sort of chili on there. And it was bloody one of the most beautiful, tastiest pizzas I've ever had, that chili one. I couldn't get enough of it. It was bloody beautiful. So the Wood-Fired Pizza Company is what it was called, Wixie's saying. Yeah, really good. Good job getting them in, fellas. That was a bloody, really good way to feed a lot of people, is to get one of those wood-fired. And it didn't cost everyone $20 a head or whatever. You're flat out buying a pizza for $20 these days, and you could just keep going back. Yeah, it was a bit at the start, everyone lined up and they couldn't keep, but after a while they started catching up, and by the end they were putting pizzas into boxes for the next day, because they just kept producing pizzas until everyone had their fill and there was stuff left over. And those chili ones that come out towards the end, they were bloody magnificent. That was one of the tastiest. It wasn't super hot chili, but it was just one of the tastiest pizzas. It was bloody beautiful. Anyway, The gluten-free prawn pizza was beautiful. Yeah, I didn't. Hey, Chrissy, how are you? There's me next door neighbour. Yeah, I didn't have the prawn. I don't eat prawns. They're the cockroaches of the ocean prawns. I didn't have that, nor did Roz. I stay away from the seafood stuff, guys. You can. Joshy had saying you can keep the vegetarian one to yourself, Marco. I don't mind a vegetarian pizza. I reckon you can have a pizza with just bloody, a bit of red onion, capsicum. What else do you put on there? Cheese. Yeah, vegetarian pizzas are okay, but you can't beat it with a bit of salami. Once the salami cooks and you get that beautiful bloody salami taste through it, absolutely fantastic. I scared my neighbours last Halloween dressed up as gluten. How do you dress up as gluten? My God. Chrissy, is that you, me next door neighbour, the cook? Chrissy is a baker, guys. She can bake some mean stuff. Chrissy gave us like a little light, fluffy Christmas cake. It tastes like a Christmas cake in a cupcake. And they were bloody beautiful. And they weren't as dense as a Christmas cake. Anyway, Chrissy and Jeff have said, Buck, for your Christmas giveaway, she's going to offer up some homemade Christmas cakes as giveaway prizes. So someone can have a homemade Christmas cake from Chrissy. So we'll be in touch, Chrissy, about that. So when I do the Christmas giveaway this year, guys, you got a chance to win one of Chrissy's homemade Christmas cakes for Christmas for your family. And I'll tell you what, they're next level. They are bloody beautiful. They really are. So, yeah, not too bad at all. And I'll tell you what, that won't be too far away. The way this year's going, I'm going to be doing that Christmas thing before I know it. So I'll try and get Gidgy up. Oh, geez, I'm going to be tight on time, guys. I'm going down to Brisbane on the 18th of December to watch AC/DC with Gidgy, and then we're driving back up to North Queensland together in the Raptor. So I'm just getting a one-way ticket from Townsville to Brisbane, watch AC/DC, and then me and Gidgy the next day are going to drive, do a 2-day trip and drive back up to Townsville. So I'm going to be pushing shit uphill to get this Christmas live feed done. Might have to do an early one, guys. So anyway, Chrissy, it was good to meet you and Jeff up there and wonderful neighbours. And the Rowies on the other side. The Rowies, bloody nice people as well. Haven't seen the Rowies on this morning. But here he is. There's Gidgy now. Hang on. How do I answer that? How do I answer this phone? Unbelievable. It was there. I wouldn't let me answer it.
Hello.
Hey, you're on live. Say good day to everyone.
Oh, fuck. You're on there talking.
Hey?
What's happening?
I said you're on you're on live, so he lets the big F-bomb go. Hey, you're on live.
All right. What are you talking about, the footy?
No, I was just talking about the Christmas live feed giveaway, but you and me will be at AC/DC on the 18th of December, and then we're going to drive back up north together. So I might have to run the Christmas giveaway early this year.
Yeah, that won't hurt. Run it the week before.
Hey, I was hoping you could be here for it, but anyway, it doesn't matter. What are you doing?
Just came out for a drive. Basically, had brekkie. Just going to do a bit of stuff around the house and get ready for the Bronx.
Yeah, it'd be a good game this hour. We were just talking about that early on the live feed. Broncos Penrith, that'll be a cracker. And
I love the AFL. I'm not an AFL person, but that was a cracking game to watch. Loved it.
Yeah, Brisbane kicked on in the second half yesterday. They it was like they were in second gear at halftime, and they just came out and went third, fourth, fifth, sixth, and just cruised away from Geelong. Anyway, well done to Brisbane. Yeah.
Let everyone know I'm going to try and get through all my Gidgy shit, and I'll give it away for like $10, $15. But I'm trying to raise $600 for a prize for my tattooist. They're trying to raise money for a little girl with bloody severe epilepsy. So all that money, every cent I make, I'm going to put it towards. I want to buy $600 juicer for a prize for their raffle.
Okay, yeah. So Ken's tattooist. Everyone's got a young girl. She's a bad epileptic, and they've got a charity going for.
It's not his girl.
No.
It's just someone from the Redland community.
Yeah, no, that's all right. All right, well, just let us know, and I'm sure people out there will buy the leftover Gidgee gear off you. And as I said, everything you sell will go towards a prize for this young girl. So
yeah. I just want to buy him a Cooving's juicer. I think that'll be a bloody good prize for one of the raffle prizes.
Yeah, no, it's good, and a good cause too, mate. A young kid that's been dealt some shit cards in life. So,
well, they raised $42,000 last year for their Halloween raffle for a little girl in Redlands. Yeah. So they've picked another one this year to try and raise the same amount.
Really... Heinzie's just had a crack out. Said, "You're on live," and you've just gone, "Oh." Phew. So Heinzie's just put a comment up. Anyway, all right, I'll give you a...
Pardon my potty mouth, everyone.
Pardon his potty mouth. Marky Lavelle said, on you, Kenneth.
Dear. Anyway, everyone have a good day.
Yeah, righto. Talk to you later.
Bye.
See you, mate. Yeah, that wouldn't let me swipe right. You know, when you answer, you just swipe the iPhone. It just disappeared. So, emergency call. Oh, hey. I just that just dialed 000. Did you see that? And it actually started dialing. I know why. I must have pushed that. They'll probably ring me back now and go, "Did you have an emergency, sir?" "No, I didn't. Sorry. I did dial 000 the other day." I'll explain. We're coming just south of Townsville, everyone. A place called Alligator Creek the other day. And they were doing burning off for summer. Anyway, the fire didn't get out of control. The fire was lapping at the bloody edge of the highway. And as we were coming up, I saw this Ford Ranger coming the other way, and he's out his window going like that at all the traffic. Slow down, slow down, slow down, slow down. Anyway, me and Rod, we could see the smoke, and as we were getting closer, this is on the main Bruce Highway, just south of Townsville. We saw the smoke's getting thicker and thicker. I said to Roz, "This fire's right up the side of the highway." Anyway, I thought, "Oh, we've got to keep going." I went into it and just could not see anything. The smoke was that thick, I lost the highway. It was just could not see anything for a second or so. And then all of a sudden, I could see the white line, just faintly see the white lines. Anyway, I was going about 40k an hour, and then I saw a car just go through the smoke coming the other way. Then we finally punched through the smoke and got some clear air. Anyway, it was bad, and it was a real traffic hazard. Like you for a couple of seconds you couldn't see the road. It was that thick, the smoke. And we're on the UHF, and all the truckies were going, "Holy, this is bullshit," and it was dangerous. And I got on the UHF and said, "Has anyone called 000?" And one of the truckies said, "No, it'd be a good idea to, but mate," he said, "this is going to cause a bad accident." So anyway, I got on to 000, which is why 000 was in my recent phone calls there, and I reported that we need the fireys and traffic control at Alligator Creek. Anyway, they said, "No, it's already been reported. We've got people." Anyway, 5 minutes later, we saw some fire vehicles coming the other way. Not fire trucks, just fire vehicles. So they really needed the police there or someone there to do traffic control. They should have traffic control there when they're doing the burn off. They're going to be burning off near the highway. Maybe they need to have the traffic control people there, because that was a dangerous situation. A couple of hours later, I forget where we were, further north of Townsville, another fire on the side of the highway. And as we went through it, the smoke wasn't quite as thick, but the fire was intense. And as we drove through, it was lapping up the highway and coming up like that. So you were right near the flames. And as we drove through, Roz went, "Oh shit, I can feel the heat coming through the window of the car." That's how intense the flames were. So once again, no traffic control there for that one either. We get up a bit further, and then I heard a truckie go, "Holy shit, that was hectic." So it must have got even worse after we went through. The truckie said, "I could feel the heat coming straight through the cabin of my vehicle." So that's how hot the fire was. So if they're going to be burning off near the highway like that, they need to have, there was no one there with fire trucks or anything. Well, they just burning off and let it go of its own accord. It was creating dangerous situations, everyone. So I actually rang Triple O the other day to report that fire, because if someone came through there and panicked and lost the road and panicked and steered, you're going to have a head-on collision, because for a couple of seconds there, it was that thick you could not see the road or the white lines in front of the vehicle. So that's why Triple O was on my phone there. So anyway, all right, guys, Furies are going. I'm going to go. I've got things to do today. Going to get out and finalise the caravan, put that away back in the shed before it rains again. Like to put it away dry so it doesn't go all mouldy and that on me. Put the caravan away. Next time I pull that out, it'll be to tow it to Cairns to get the water pump looked at. But in the meantime, I've got to get that bloody gearbox done in the BT50. So money coming up. Tommy Oliver, bye all. Yeah, anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed the live feed this morning. Bit of a mixed bag there. Looking forward next year to get out. Break in me bloody stainless steel billy can there. That's a nice looking billy, that one. I got it from Bunnings online, guys. Go Bunnings online, Bunnings stainless steel billy, and it was an online thing only. You couldn't go into the store and pick it up. It was like they must have an online thing, but that's a good quality billy from what I can see. All right, guys, take care. Be good to each other. The next, I've got 2 videos out. Part 1's out already. You may have seen it. I've also got the good little Damo cookware thing that I do. Grant from 4-Wheel in New South Wales shows us. That's out. And then part 2 will be out Wednesday morning. Part 3 Friday morning, everyone. So get on and watch that. And I think there'll be about 4 or 5 parts for our last holiday that we did. And then that'll be it for the camping season, guys. Probably do a few cook-ups and all that type of stuff. Anyway, take care. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Enjoy the footy this afternoon if you're watching the rugby league. Go the Broncos over the Panthers. I think it's going to be a really, really good game, this one. It'll be an absolute beauty. See you, everyone. Thanks for tuning in this morning. Take care. See you, Mike. See you, John, over there in the USA. Take it easy. I didn't see any of the Poms on. Must be bloody still too early in the morning for them guys. See you later, everyone. Bye now. Take care.